Randy. Oh dear, oh dear. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. AzRealPLAYER here. And of course, today, we're going to be talking about Borderlands again. But something controversial, I suppose. The potential price of Borderlands 4 being $80, £80, wherever you're from. Basically, just the flat out increase of the price of video games. And, what's causing this? Why are people unhappy about it? Let's dive into it. The outrage from Borderlands fans was sparked by this tweet from Randy Pitchford himself. He went on to say, A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just at high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlour in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. So, yes, a lot of people are not happy about this, and I can see why. If you want my personal opinion, before I get into sort of why increase in price for games is happening and all that other stuff, then basically I think that he should have just said, listen, it's up to the publishers. Don't come from my head. It isn't me who gets to say this. He didn't need to expand on it by saying that, because it's kind of a kick in the teeth to many, especially with the way the economy is now and people are struggling. And I guess you could say there is some truth to it. Borderlands fans will buy the game and will find that way, but it is kind of out of touch, man. Like, that statement, it's a little out of touch for me, and I can see why people are getting a bit annoyed about it. Not everybody's able to buy loads of games either, so they do have to pick and choose which games they're going to buy. And even more so than before, people are more hesitant to pre-order games now, because when they do pre-order games, especially for the price that you're paying, you're not always getting the quality back. And to be honest, publishers are justifying £70, £80 prices by citing rising development costs, But gamers aren't just really buying one game, are they? We're trying to buy a lot of different games, especially with a lot of releases coming in the year. And to be honest as well, if you think about it, many titles now actually just launch with DLC roadmaps. You have deluxe editions, battle passes. So, the £80 price tag is often just the entry fee. Let's say, Borderlands 3, for instance, if you bought the base game, you still missed out on major content, Season Pass 2, Director's Cut. And to be honest, for a lot of people, this feels like they're being exploited. Value depends on content and practice. If I am paying that price for a game, I obviously want the quality to be high. I need to have a lot of enjoyment out of that game, and it needs to be at a certain standard. I've had many experiences in the past of pre-ordering games or buying games for a very high price and being very let down, having high expectations, being promised certain things, and it just wasn't there. Quality just didn't hit, and I just felt like I wasted my money. And as I referred to before, with the amount of games that do release now, more so than ever, of course the quality is improving, I get that, so more money is being spent in the production of these games. And if you do commit to a game and you're spending £70, £80, £90 to £100 on that game, depending on what edition you're getting as well, and the quality's not there, people are going to be disappointed. So I do understand the pushback from people now that are not happy with the increase, the inflation. And when a game launches, we've all been there with a lot of bugs, missing features, or the live service dial drip content. When you can justify spending this type of money on a game, in my opinion anyway, is that it's a polished experience. It's got full content on release. A good thing, to be honest, and some games do it, they do offer optional content, DLC content, but they don't make that a thing that you have to lean on heavily. So long-term value without pressure to buy the extras would also be a good thing too. So let's say, Borderlands 4, it launches. It's very polished. There's a lot of content there. It's very good. A lot to do. Good end game. Very good structure. But on the flip side of that, if it launches incomplete or leans hard into, post-launch monetizations, fans are going to call it out. Because they've paid £80 or whatever the price tag you want to call for the game to be lacking, and then relying on additional content that you're going to have to pay for. So Borderlands 4 is obviously going to have a lot of additional content. It's going to be a massive game. It's the biggest Borderlands game we're ever going to experience, I think. I'm not sure about beyond Borderlands 4. And to be honest, the Borderlands fan base has stuck with the series for over a decade. And also, even though Borderlands 3 wasn't as great as we wanted it to be, You know, it's not a bad game by all means. It's got better, but especially the fact that it launched the way it did, it wasn't great. People spent a lot of money and were disappointed heavily, and rightly so. And listen, you know, everyone, we know one of the reasons why this is now happening, why the increase in price of these games is happening. We know the Switch 2 is coming out literally very, very soon. And because Nintendo has adopted a variable pricing strategy, you know, game prices reflect factors like development scope, content depth, and replayability. For instance, you know, with Mario Kart World coming out, you know, it's being described as probably the richest Mario Kart experience yet, which, you know, is justifying its premium cost. Additionally, you know, you got enhanced versions of existing titles that they're releasing, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, re-released at higher prices, some of them requiring you to spend like an additional £10-20 or whatever. And because of Nintendo going down this route now, others are going to follow suit, and this is probably why we're going to see games like maybe Borderlands 4 pushing their price up, and, you know, other publishers as well. But there's two sides to the argument. You know, some people are saying, you know, the increased prices reflect the value and content that's being offered, and obviously you've got the flip side, which is the outrage now of people expressing that concern over the affordability and the potential for this trend to influence pricing across the whole industry, which I think it will. And to be honest, a lot of analysts suggest that if Nintendo's strategy proves successful, other publishers will follow suit, and I think the same. And people are worried about that. That's the bottom line. They're worried about the new normal price for games being around that $70-80 mark. But that's all I wanted to discuss. Not a very positive video, of course, because people are very upset by this, and I do understand. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would be interested to hear what your take on this is. But Randy was out of touch, in my opinion, for coming out with that statement. He should have just left it at, you know, it's out of my hands, it's out of my control kind of thing. But anyway, thank you guys for watching as always. Thank you for the support, by the way, on the channel recently. And if you are enjoying the content, you know, do consider subscribing, because it's nice and it helps me out. And also, you know, leave a like if you can. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.